Good evening to all the participants present here. Goyal Brothers Prakashan would like to welcome you all. We have with us Alka ma'am today, a senior teacher and our English expert.
A wonderful evening to everyone. Greetings, a big hello from me to all of you. Today, before I begin, I would like to congratulate you all. You'll ask me why. Well, the simple reason is that all of you have not only been teaching, sharing, mentoring, counseling your students, but you have also been learning a lot. So the last 2 years have been a huge learning experience for all of you, I'm sure. And we have learned so much. And look at the way we've transformed and revolutionized the whole concept of education, of imparting education, because from offline became to online. So a big kudos to all of you and just keep going. Well, thank you so much to Goyal Brothers Prakashan for organizing the webinar. That's really very sweet. And I think much needed, because all of us, then once we connect with one another, it gives us the reassurance that we're on the right track. And ladies, gentlemen, educators, leaders, mentors, I am Alka Mahajan. I'm an academician. I've been in the educational scene for 3 decades now as an English teacher and in administrative and leadership roles. Besides that, I'm a psychotherapist. I'm an international speaker and Toastmaster. I'm a radio and television presenter, a communication personality and leadership coach. And I organize a lot of online webinars and conferences internationally. And not only that, I'm also a columnist and All India Educator Forum's Global Master Trainer and Ambassador. Well, now let's just dive straight into our topic and what we have to be discussing and pondering over today. So I will just share my screen. And so this is a webinar on the latest changes in CBSE sample papers for Term 2 exams for English Core Class 12. And what we are going to be doing today is that what is in the second term according to the bifurcated syllabus, discussing the types of questions, format, and the finer details. Do we, as teachers, help our students prepare for the upcoming second term exams? We've already been through term 1, and whatever we did or whatever syllabus we covered during that time is over and now will not be included in the term 2. So that is something we need to keep in mind. And also sometime the term 2 most probably will be happening in the month of March 2022. And as per the bifurcated syllabus, the second term or semester has 3 sections for class 12 English Core: reading, writing, and literature. The breakup is reading will be for 14 marks. So the section on reading will be for 14 marks. Writing will be for 8 marks. Literature will be for 18 marks. Total, making this a total of 40 marks, plus your internal assessment, which is actually the 10 marks that have been given, is for your assessment of speaking learning skills, which you are familiar with and you have been doing earlier as well. So this makes it to a total of 50 marks. Now, when we come to the details of the second term specimen paper, in term 1, the time allowed to the students was 90 minutes. But now it's going to be 2 hours. Earlier it was 1.5 hours. Now it is 2 hours. Maximum marks would be 40. And the questions to be attempted should be based on specific instructions for each part. Term 2 exam 2022 will be held in a subjective type pattern. So now this is the big difference. So earlier in term 1, the students attempted a question paper that was totally based on your multiple choice questions, MCQs, as you all call it. So this time it is going to be subjective. So that is the biggest difference. Plus, there's an increase in the time limit by half an hour or 30 minutes. Now, the pattern of the specimen paper, let's do it section-wise. So if we do section A would be reading. And this would be for 14 marks. I think this was the same in term 1, so there's no change over here. The questions are based on unseen passages to assess inference, evaluation, vocabulary, analysis, and interpretation. Now, there will be 2 passages. Passage 1 would be either discursive, factual, or descriptive or literary. So it could be any of these, and it would be for 8 marks. So the first passage would be for 8 marks. The children will have an option over here, a choice. So they will get 9 questions, and they have to attempt only 8 of those, any 8. So there would be all sorts of questions, the point is over here, what is important to understand and, also train and encourage the students are that the answers should be written in a way that is complete sentences, and they should not be lifted. It should not be a mere lift from the passage. Otherwise, marks will be deducted. That is the important part. But they have good choice. The questions are based on Bloom's revised taxonomy. So you have a question on understanding, on analysis, on application, on creation. All sorts of questions would be there. And the students, of course, there'll be only short answer questions. Perhaps the answer would only be a 1-word answer or maybe a phrase answer, but still the suggestion is to encourage the students and to train the students to write a complete sentence for the answers. Passage 2 would be a case-based factual passage. Now, this case-based factual passage would be for 6 marks. And again, the students would have a choice over here. They would get 7 questions, and they would have to attempt any 6 of them. So 8 from the first passage and 6 from the second passage is equal to 14 questions, and every question 1 mark each. So this is the reading section for you. And I think we need to encourage the students to read a lot, because reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So if the children read, they will understand better, the comprehension will be stronger, they'll learn new words, vocabulary. I'm sure as English teachers, we keep on saying this to the children, but because of everything going online, the students don't really read too much now. They don't really bother. So they just go to the main points or the focus points, and they're not really reading. So it's a good idea reading the text, learning to read the passages of the comprehension section. So this is important. Coming to the next one, which is our section B. This is our creative writing skills. This would be for 8 marks. Question number 3. So we discussed 2 questions. Question number 3 is the short writing tasks. So this would include formal and informal invitation cards and replies to the invitation. So this would be, we will not have, I think earlier we had classifieds, and we also had notice writing. But this time we don't have notice writing and classifieds. We just have formal and informal invitation cards and the replies to the invitation. So they can get either of these. And this would be for 3 marks. And again, they need to be very particular. And we as their mentors and facilitators, their teachers, we need to encourage them to write proper content. The layout has to be very particular, special importance must be given to the layouts. And then not only that, expression and accuracy, all these must be given importance. So this would be for 3 marks, and this would be question number 3. So question number 3 would be a short writing task. Either they're asked to draft a formal or informal invitation card, or they'll be asked to reply to the invitation. So whether it's accepting it or declining it, that depends on whatever is asked in the question. So they have to read the questions very properly.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows three-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tuesday and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Please encourage them to read the questions twice. Ask them not to just see a word, not just look at the word in the question and start writing. They must read the question properly. I'm sure we're doing that, but this just makes it even more. It just sort of reaffirms that we really need to make this an important part while training our students. Question number 4 would be a long writing task. Now over here they will get a choice. Question number 4, there will be a choice. So they will get 2 questions, they will have to do 1. Now the first one would be a letter of application for a job. Or it could be report writing. So earlier they had article writing in this section, the long writing task, and they had letter to the editor. So now, which were issues about public concern, social causes, etc. But now it's going to be a letter of application and report writing. So there'll be 2 questions. They will have to choose. But again, it's a good idea since we have very limited syllabus now. Unlike earlier times, go back to pre-COVID times, there was quite a syllabus to cover and the students had to do everything because they never knew what would come. So, but now it's bifurcated, it's reduced to a large extent, and whatever is, part of the syllabus for term 2, I think all of these, formats, everything must be done very thoroughly. So that's very important. So this now long writing task question 4, this would be for 5 marks. So 5 marks for the long writing task. Over here, we have to remember the format. We have to remember content. We have to remember expression. So 2 plus 2 and accuracy, which is for 1 mark. We have to be very concerned about that. Now, as far as the indicators, perhaps we could cover them whenever we're doing the marking scheme. So let me come to the section C now. So section C is about literature. Literature, these are the questions that are based on extracts, texts to assess interpretation, inference, extrapolation beyond and across the text. So from Flamingo, we have the rat trap and indigo. Earlier, I think they had the last lesson, lost spring and deep water. But now, this time in term 2, their only focus should be on these 2 chapters from Flamingo, prose chapters, the rat trap and indigo. Coming to the poetry section, earlier on they had My Mother at 66 and an elementary by Stephen Spender, Keeping Quiet as well. They had 3 from the poetry section, but now they have 2. One is A Thing of Beauty by John Keats and Aunt Jennifer's Tigers by Adrian Rich. So they have only 2 poems for term 2 English core. Coming to Vistas, the book Vistas, the chapters that will be coming for term 2 English core class 12. Should Wizard Hit Mommy? And the second one, On the Face of It. And the third one, Evans tries, and O level. So these are the three that need to be focused on. So making this 3 plus 2, which is 5, plus these 7. So they have to do these 7 chapters completely, read the text well, and then attempt the kind of questions that come. Now, out of these, question number 5 would be, there would be, 6 questions over there, and they would have to attempt 5 questions. Every question will carry 2 marks. And the word limit for these 2 marks questions are 30 to 40 words. As their teachers and mentors, it is imperative that you encourage and train the students to write within the word limit prescribed. Otherwise, the children just get carried away and they tend to write all that they know. At times, some of them just write a summary of the entire chapter, but they have to focus on the question asked, write as per that, write only 30 to 40 words, and they will get 5 questions, and it will cover all the two books. So they can get from the poetry section, from prose, and even from vistas. So that is something which they need to be careful about. May I request someone to stop annotating on the screen, please? It's very disturbing. All right, so I was talking of question 5, which would be for 10 marks. So 10 marks means they have 5 questions, 2 marks each. Then we come to question number 6, again for the literature section. And over here, they would get 3 long questions, again from both the books. Now they have a choice of attempting only 2. And every question carries 4 marks. So that makes it 4 into 2, which is equal to 8 marks. So that makes it a total of 18 marks for section C, literature. Again, the long question must be written within word limits 120 to 150 words. This is very important. I think we need to train them and ask them to write, because what is happening is that these are those children who did not, I think this, when we had COVID in 2020, they were in class 11. So they are not so much used to writing as the earlier batch students, perhaps. So we need to encourage them to, when they're revising for their test, for their exams, I think they should write a lot. So let's come to the next one. Please do encourage that, and I'm sure all will be good. The pattern of the specimen paper, these are the focus points that need to be taken into consideration or kept in mind. I've just given a little brief. I've been saying that, but I'll just repeat it. For reading, no deduction for errors in spellings, grammar, or punctuation. No marks to be granted if exact lines are lifted from the passage without evidence of structure or semblance of coherent thought. Reading of the question paper must be done mindfully. We need to encourage the children to read the question paper well. In fact, it's a good idea that we train the children when they're doing their comprehension passage to read the questions first and then read the passage. It always helps, saves time. And coming to the 4th one, focus on content, expression, and accuracy. Content, of course, will include the layout as well. Expression, would be talking about their flow of thoughts, their sequence, the continuity, the kind of words and vocabulary used, phrases, quotations, everything. And accuracy would be their grammatical part of it, grammatical errors, if any, spelling mistakes, punctuation. So that will be part of accuracy. Then coming to adhering to time limits and word limits. Like I said, they should stick to the word limits of all the writing tasks as well as the long question answers, which is in the literature section. Now, how should students maneuver through the paper? So they must, during reading time, make their choices on the topics that they want to write. They must create roadmaps in their minds so as to what will be the contents of their answer. So it's always good, having an idea that I must begin. Some Some students are better with section A, some are better with B, and some are better with section C. So there should be no hard and fast rule that they must do A, B, and C, though it's always a good idea. But in case they feel, more comfortable doing section B and then section A, it's absolutely okay.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.
Only thing is that they must give proper time limits and they should understand in their mind as to what they're going to be writing, what choices are they going to be making, especially wherever they have a choice in terms of the questions. Then they can manage their time according to the following. There's a flow chart. So you can always ask them to make some kind of a flow chart and where they distribute. So they could give 30 minutes to all the sections or 35 minutes to the sections, and then leave enough time for, going through the entire paper twice and, also remaining calm and, wherever they feel that they could write a different word or, they've written something by mistake, they can always rectify that. So then, now how do we prepare the students? Again, practice makes perfect. So the students must be given ample practice in all topics so that they can spot their shortcomings and work on them. Like I said, it's a good idea that they are encouraged to write and read and write both. Because if you remember Bacon's statement, he said that reading maketh a full man, but I think it was reading maketh. I'm mixing up on that quotation, but it's a beautiful quotation which says that reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing maketh an exact man. So, it's a good idea. They're asked to, brainstorm, discuss answers of the questions with you as their facilitators, with their friends, because we're doing a lot of that anyway. Now that everything is online, they're presenting a lot online, they're sharing screen, presenting their answers or their presentations. But at the same time, reading needs to be laid emphasis on, and also writing. And they should be made to read newspapers so that they can get a knack for the flow of writing. I think that is also important. Reading always pays. In the long run, reading always pays. And they should also improve the neatness and the speed of their writing in order to allow them to finish their paper in time. Well, with that, I always say that, the secret of success is determined by hard work and strong focus on goals. It doesn't just happen. It's not instant. There are no shortcuts to success. It's not like instant coffee. We have to work. We have to persevere. We have to remain persistent. And that's the way. I think all of us have been doing that. We need to share these kind of powerful feelings with our students as well. So that is what's actually going to, make them work well. I would recommend that the students do a lot of sample papers, because that will help them like I said, that will help them in the long run. They will learn to write, they will read. And so this is a fantastic book. It has about, and this is by Goyal Brothers Prakashan. This book contains 10 solved question papers. So it's a good idea that the children can go through these solved question papers and after that maybe attempt some solved question papers and then match their answers with the ones given in the book. And then after that, do at least 5 unsolved sample papers, which they will find in this book. So this is according to the latest syllabus, like I just shared with you just now. Section A, 14 marks, Section B, 8 marks, and Section C, 18 marks. All the instructions are given, and we have to remember that this time the paper is subjective. They have to write answers as per the word limit, not get carried away. What happens is that since they're not so used to writing, because in term 1 they did the multiple choice, they just had to pick on that on the correct option. Now they have to write, so they need to write the sentences properly as per the word limits. So if it's a 2-mark question, 30 to 40 words. In the creative writing task, they have to write the long job application letter. They have to write that, or the report writing has to be for 120 words. And the long writing skill from literature needs to be covered in 150 words. So anything from 120 to 150. And this will only happen if they practice a lot, if they write the words, and it always helps. Writing always works wonders for the children. So that is it. And yes, I could, also tell you that, the kind of questions that they get are, like I shared earlier, is all based on from Section A. The comprehension passages are all based on revised taxonomy of blooms, which we have been doing. And so you have questions which test the knowledge, which test vocabulary, which test understanding, which also test the creation of the children. So all those stages are covered, and covered very well. So if you see the sample papers towards the unsolved ones, that will give a good practice to the children. But again, at the same time, we have newspapers. Newspapers are also a great, from the newspapers, the children can just read passages and try to attempt the comprehension passages from them. So it could be discursive, factual, or at the same time, it could also be literary. So there's something like that also over there. So for the rest, we're all working hard, and I think we need to continue working hard with our children. We need to encourage them. That has become more of our role now as their counselors, as facilitators, and because the 2 years has been quite difficult, not only for us, but also for the children. So they need to be encouraged to write well, and they need to be encouraged to write a lot before the exams, because then once they practice writing as well, a good technique would be, they can be asked to read their chapters and write a short summary, or maybe just the focus areas of every chapter, the characters from the chapter, the theme of the lesson, that just reiterates in their mind, because generally these young students, they mix up with the characters, so they forget that. But of course, the course is limited. But even though the course is limited, I think it's a good idea if they write, and we encourage them to do that, because their reflexes otherwise become slow while they're attempting the question paper in the examination hall, because of the simple reason that their mind works faster than their hands. So the more they practice writing, the better it will be for them. And for the rest, we as English teachers and mentors, we have a long way to go. We still need to learn a lot, because we're also lifelong learners, and we need to teach our children the same thing. So this is a legacy that we share with them, that life is a learning process, and learning must never ever stop. So with that, I come to the end of this session. But yes, definitely, if anybody has to ask a question or anything, then please go ahead, feel free, and to ask. Yeah, I'm sure you will probably be getting, as promised, you'll probably getting sample papers for sure. And there they are. So you can always visit them. And we can also discuss whatever it is, that they're asking, because I don't see anything other than that. I think they're very familiar with the writing techniques. There's nothing, we've been doing it. Only thing is that now, we need to focus on the fact that the paper is going to be for 40 marks. It's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be subjective. It wasn't so in term 1. The syllabus is different. We have to focus, we have to reiterate that to our students. And yes, thank you. It was a pleasure sharing. I see somebody with sharing my name, Miss Alka Agarwal. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Reena James. Yes, definitely, Miss Aruna Jain. Thank you, Mr. Piyush. Thank you, Esther. No, I'm sure you will definitely get it. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay, Miss Yachna. Thank you so much for joining in. Miss Namrata, thank you. It was a pleasure sharing it with all of you. Thank you, Miss Anjan, Miss Yachna. Thank you so much. If I've not taken Mr. Yogesh, Miss Ruby, Miss Shivani, Miss Neelam, Miss Renu, thank you so much. Giri sir, thank you so much for being here. Gurdevinder, Miss Indu, Mr. Shukla, Miss Akanksha, Miss Kulcheet, Miss Vandana, Mr. Ankit, Miss Vaishali, Mr. Shine Kumar, Miss Anjali, Miss Archana Sharma, thank you so much. Miss Silky, Miss Betsy, Mr. Gurdevinder, Miss Tajinder, Miss Sunidhi, thank you so much. Well, perhaps we thank you. It will be much better if the entire thing is screen shared with them, how the project was done, what are the different ways, techniques, everything I'll definitely share. And also there was another query, I just missed out on that regarding the invitation or some formats. We can do that also in the next webinar. Perhaps we can do both the things together. Thank you and goodbye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Now, subscribe to Bright Duty course at ₹1 per day only. Download Bright Duty app from Play Store and get the online courses prepared by competent and experienced teachers for different education boards of classes 6 to 10. Bright Duty courses are available for the subjects of Math, Science, Social Science, English and Hindi in English and Hindi medium. Bright Duty follows 3-step approach, that is learning, assessment and exam preparation. In learning, topic-wise video lectures with explanation of concepts and discussion of textbook examples and questions are available with the solutions. In assessment, topic-wise online MCQ test, practice assignments and chapter-wise question bank are available with the solutions. In exam preparation, previous year's question papers, sample papers and model test papers are available with the solutions. Sign up today on Bright Tutor and avail your courses at affordable prices.